A bustling city in the USA, New York. Amidst the chaos of life, a young woman, Emily Carter, struggles to find meaning after losing her job, her home, and her faith. Emily's journey is one of rediscovery, guided by mysterious, divine interventions. Emily is evicted from her apartment after losing her job at a prominent firm. With nowhere to go, she finds herself sitting on a park bench. Her diary is filled with scribbled prayers to God, but she begins to question whether he is listening. A homeless man named Gabriel approaches Emily, offering her his only sandwich. Despite his ragged appearance, there's something radiant about him. He tells Emily, "You're not alone. He's with you." Confused, Emily takes the food but brushes off his words. Emily finds a key in her diary with an address written on a piece of paper. Intrigued, she decides to follow the lead. The address leads her to a small church in the middle of the city. There she meets Father Michael, who claims he has been waiting for her. Father Michael reveals that Emily has a gift she doesn't understand yet. Through him, Emily begins volunteering at a local shelter, helping others who have lost their way. Slowly, she starts finding peace, but strange, inexplicable events continue to happen around her. One night, Emily dreams of a bright, golden field where a voice tells her, "I have always been with you, even in your darkest moments." She wakes up with renewed faith but questions whether it was real. Emily faces a tragedy when the shelter is threatened with closure due to lack of funding. She rallies the community to save it, but things seem bleak. Doubt creeps back into her heart as she prays for a miracle. On the day the shelter is set to close, a mysterious donation arrives, saving it. The benefactor is anonymous, but Emily knows it's a sign. Gabriel reappears, smiling knowingly before disappearing into the crowd. Emily becomes a beacon of hope for others, spreading the message that faith and resilience can overcome any obstacle. She writes a book titled, "God Says I'm With You," sharing her journey with the world. Emily Carter is a driven young woman who worked as a financial analyst in New York. Life was perfect until a series of events spiraled out of control. Her company shut down, her savings dwindled, and she was evicted from her apartment. Sitting on a park bench in the rain, Emily contemplates whether God abandoned her. Her worn diary, filled with unanswered prayers, is her only solace. In her darkest hour, Emily encounters Gabriel, a homeless man with an uncanny warmth. He tells her, "You're stronger than you think. You've never been alone." Emily, skeptical, brushes him off, but keeps replaying his words in her mind. Later that night, Emily notices an envelope tucked into her diary with a key and a mysterious address. It leads her to a church where she meets Father Michael. The priest welcomes her as though he's been expecting her, offering words of wisdom and encouraging her to stay for the evening service. Emily begins volunteering at the church's soup kitchen. Slowly, she feels a sense of belonging, but doubts persist. One night, while walking home, she narrowly escapes a car accident when an unseen force seems to pull her back. Shocked, she begins to wonder if divine intervention is real. Through her work at the church, Emily meets people from different walks of life, all with their struggles. She learns their stories and starts finding parallels to her own pain. Father Michael advises her to start journaling her gratitude instead of her fears. One night, Emily has a vivid dream of walking through a golden field. A voice calls out, "Even in your silence, I was there." She feels an overwhelming peace but wakes up doubting if it was real. The next day, Gabriel reappears, this time urging her to visit a struggling shelter nearby. Emily discovers that the shelter, home to dozens of families, is on the brink of shutting down due to lack of funds. She takes it upon herself to rally the community to save it. Despite her efforts, the deadline looms and hope fades. In a tearful prayer, she pleads, "If you're with me, show me a sign." The day the shelter is set to close, a mysterious benefactor donates the exact amount needed to keep it running. Gabriel is seen smiling at the crowd before disappearing into an alley. Emily realizes this wasn't a coincidence. It was divine intervention. Emily writes a book chronicling her journey and the lessons learned. Titled "God Says I'm With You," the book inspires thousands. As she speaks at her book launch, she looks into the audience and sees Gabriel one last time, nodding in approval.